Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
All right, so welcome to Connecting the Dots, brought to you by Snarful Solutions Group. It's March 20th, 2025.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to break down the top tech news, but in a way that really matters to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No jargon, no crazy tech terms.
No.
Just real talk about how all this stuff is going to actually impact your daily life.
It's not just about, the headlines. Yeah. We're going to sort of dive deeper. Right?
Exactly.
Get past the surface, find the real gems and the things that are actually going to, ripple out and touch all the stuff we do every day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I thought we could start with this Sam Altman interview that's been kind of making the rounds, right?
Huge, yeah.
Huge. So this is, he's the head of OpenAI.
Right.
And Stratechery sat down with him for a really, really deep dive.
Yeah.
A ton of ground was covered, why OpenAI even started, his vision for the future of AI, competition, the role of ads even.
Right. It's fascinating. I mean, what I found really interesting is his take on the whole sort of evolution of OpenAI, right? They started with this super research-heavy focus. But now they're in the trenches building a consumer tech company, right? That change, that shift, it has massive implications for how AI is actually going to be, developed and put into all the tools that we're probably going to be using, right?
And think about even just, he talked about AI hallucination.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Which is those times when AI confidently gets stuff wrong.
Right, totally.
And that really shows you how hard it is to actually make AI reliable enough for us to use every day, right? For those simple tasks.
Think about it this way. If you're asking a virtual assistant to, set a reminder for you, or you're using some tool that helps you write a blog post or whatever, you need to be able to trust that it's actually getting it right.
Exactly.
And those hallucinations, those moments where it goes off the rails.
That's a core challenge in making AI truly dependable for those everyday things.
Right. And I thought it was really interesting that he also talked about regulation for AI.
Oh, yeah.
No, that sounds like a boring topic, right?
Kind of dry.
But the rules that are put in place could determine what AI tools you even have access to in the future.
Exactly, and how much you can actually trust them, right?
And how much you can trust them, right?
It's not just about the tech itself, it's the whole ecosystem that's being built around it. Yeah.
Exactly. And, I think his overall outlook, it paints this picture where AI is just going to become even more a part of our lives.
Oh, absolutely.
So, all those times when you've used AI, whether it's asking Siri or Alexa a question, or using Grammarly or whatever, that's just the beginning.
It's the tip of the iceberg, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the decisions that we make about AI now, they're going to determine how helpful and how accurate it is in the future. Huge implications.
Yeah. So now let's move on to something I think potentially really impactful for internet freedom, right?
Oh, yeah. This is a big one.
So the Washington Post is reporting on cuts to USAGM funding.
Yeah.
And this has led to the support being eliminated for the Open Technology Fund.
OTF.
Yeah. The OTF. I hadn't even heard of this before, but since 2012, they've been instrumental in helping over 24 million people.
Wow.
In countries with really restrictive governments get onto the internet without censorship.
That's incredible, 24 million people.
Yeah.
What's really important about OTF is that they're not just, talking about internet freedom in this abstract way, right?
Yeah.
They're actually giving people the tools, right? Funding, development, maintenance of technologies, but they actually allow people to bypass state-controlled information.
Yeah.
So think secure messaging apps, or tools that help users avoid being tracked.
Right, and this is where it hits home, right?
Yeah.
Because this budget cut, it could leave those millions of people vulnerable, right?
Way more vulnerable.
Without the support for these technologies, it's going to be so much easier to track them.
Exactly.
Right, and they face increased risks just for trying to communicate or get information.
Imagine, you live in a country where the government controls all the news, right? They're watching everything you do online. These tools that OTF supports could be the only way you can, like, access independent journalism or connect with people outside that bubble, right?
Exactly.
So for them, this is not theoretical.
It's not theoretical, right?
This is like their daily life.
Yeah.
It's their ability to stay informed and to actually exercise basic freedoms.
Basic freedoms. And I think it really just, it brings it home that free internet access is not a guarantee for everybody.
Right. It's easy to take that for granted. Right. But this news really highlights how fragile it is for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we can, switch gears now, talk about something a little bit more on the consumer side.
A little lighter.
A little lighter, yeah. Online shopping.
Yeah.
Well, Bloomberg has a report on Temu.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. And the company that owns Temu, PDD, their latest financial results.
Okay.
And it gives us kind of a glimpse into what's happening with online retail.
All right.
Right? So PDD's revenue grew by a big 24%.
Wow.
Compared to last year, which is huge.
That's a lot.
Reaching about $15.3 billion. But analysts were actually expecting it to be...
even more.
Even higher. Okay. So, but their net income, which is their profit, saw an even bigger jump. Of 18%. So they're making more money, hitting around $3.8 billion.
Okay, so that's interesting because their revenue growth is slowing down, but they're actually making more profit, so there's something going on there. What does Bloomberg say about that?
Bloomberg highlights a few factors, right?
Okay.
Increased competition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Within China, which is their biggest market,
okay,
as a key factor.
Yep.
And then also... the tariffs that the U.S. has imposed are also playing a role.
Oh, right. Those trade wars.
Yeah,
those can definitely have an impact.
Yeah, right. So how does this impact your daily life,
Right.
As a consumer?
Right.
More competition and online shopping means companies are working harder to get you to buy from them.
Right.
Right. So that means more sales, maybe lower prices, on some items, right?
More choices.
Yeah, wider array of choices.
Yeah.
But those tariffs, those can lead to higher prices.
Right, especially on imported goods, yeah.
Right. So it's like a little bit of a push and pull.
The balancing act, right.
Yeah. And then like online stores like Temu, they're always trying to figure out the best strategies, right? Shipping, discounts, the products they offer to get you to keep coming back.
Keep those customers coming back.
Yeah. So... while you might not see, like, the prices change on everything immediately.
Right.
All of this stuff that's happening behind the scenes is impacting your online shopping experience.
And, one thing to think about, too, is that these financial reports, they influence these companies' long-term decisions.
Right.
So, like, if their growth slows down or their costs go up, they might have to come up with totally new strategies.
Right.
Which could affect everything, right?
What?
The types of products they sell, customer service they provide.
Right, exactly. Okay, so now let's talk about something you can actually hold, right?
Something tangible. Yeah.
Something tangible. Bloomberg is covering the launch of Huawei's new foldable phone.
Oh, cool.
The Pura X.
I love foldable phones. They're so cool.
Right. And this is not your typical smartphone.
Okay.
It's 6.3 inches.
Wow, that's big.
That folds into a square.
Oh, like the old flip phones.
Yeah, like an old flip phone.
That's awesome.
And then it has a 3.5-inch...
Wait, so it's got another screen?
It's got another screen on the outside for quick glances and actions.
That's so smart.
So what's also really interesting is that this is Huawei's first flagship phone running Harmony OS 5.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Launching in China with a price around $1,036.
Okay, so they're going all in on their own operating system now.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
It is.
So, like, for people who, haven't really been keeping up with foldable phones,
right,
this represents, like, a really interesting new direction in mobile tech, right?
Exactly.
Because we're seeing all these different approaches to design.
Yeah.
And this clamshell format, like the Pura X, it gives you this, like, best of both worlds thing. You've got a big screen when you want it.
Yeah.
But then it folds up super small.
Yeah.
And that little external display, that's, like, extra convenient, right?
Yeah.
You can check stuff without even opening it up.
Exactly.
Right.
That's pretty slick.
So I think for your everyday life, this just shows you how much things are going to change, right?
Yeah.
Phones are going to get weird.
Yeah, exactly.
In a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Right. So imagine having this big screen to read or watch videos that still fits in your pocket.
Right. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Right? Now, obviously, you got to think about durability of the folding mechanism.
Right.
Right? Like,
and how useful that little screen actually is.
yeah. Is that actually useful? But running Harmony OS 5, that's also significant.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It gives you an alternative.
Right. It's not just Apple and Google anymore.
Exactly.
So that could lead to like more competition, different kinds of user experiences. Who knows?
Exactly.
Exciting.
Yeah. So it's only launching in China right now, but it gives you a glimpse into the future of smartphones.
Yeah, it's a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. Okay. So our last story takes us behind the scenes of the AI boom, okay?
All right, yeah.
So Bloomberg has a report detailing how just 4 companies are dominating the AI supply chain.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you've got Nvidia, SK Hynix, TSMC, and ASML.
Those are some big names, especially
for
people in the industry, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they're the ones behind the chips that make all this modern AI possible, right? Like ChatGPT.
So they're the ones actually making it happen.
Yeah. And together, these 4 companies have a market value of over $4 trillion.
That's insane.
That's a huge number.
Like, that's more than most countries' GDP.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is.
So what's crazy is that they practically have a monopoly, right, in their areas.
That's a lot of power concentrated in just a few hands.
Exactly. Bloomberg reports they control anywhere from 80% to 100% of the market.
Wow.
For, like, the key parts of AI chip development.
So Nvidia, they design the processors.
Yeah.
SK Hynix makes the memory. TSMC manufactures the chips.
Yep.
And ASML makes the machines that actually make the chips.
Yeah, the machines that make the chips.
Wow.
So, like, why should you care about this?
Yeah, that's a good question, right?
Right, because these companies, they control the tech. That powers the AI. That's in all the stuff you use every day.
Like our phones, our computers.
Right. So think about it, like, AI in your voice assistant, the recommendations you see, the stuff you use for work, for fun.
Yeah, it all comes back to those chips.
Yeah. So this dominance that they have, it could affect
the price we pay for stuff.
How quickly things advance.
How quickly new stuff comes out.
How much it costs to develop.
Yeah, and whether it's even available to everyone.
Yeah. And the article brings up this really big question of, like, will this dominance continue, right?
Yeah, because that's a huge... If they stay on top, they're going to have a lot of influence over the future of AI.
Yeah, and everyone in the tech world is watching this really closely.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So let's just quickly recap what we've talked about today on this deep dive.
Yeah, good idea.
Right. So it's March 20th, 2025. We explored Sam Altman's insights on OpenAI and the evolution of AI, the impact of those funding cuts, on internet freedom and OTF, Temu's financial performance, PDD's financial performance.
The world of online shopping?
Right. Huawei.
That cool foldable phone.
Foldable phone, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And the dominance of those 4 companies in the AI supply chain.
Right. And I think it's important to remember these aren't just, tech things, right? They all have real world consequences.
Exactly.
For all of us.
Right. So everything from the AI tools that we use to the freedom of information, the way we shop online, the devices we use.
The stuff that powers all of it.
Yeah, right. And it really just shows you how interconnected everything is.
Absolutely. It's all connected.
Right. So it's worth taking a moment to think about, like, how all this stuff is contributing to our increasingly digital lives.
Right. Where are we headed?
Yeah. And so just keep that in mind. We are here to help here at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.